New shockwaves hitting the American job market. And if you thought holiday hiring would come to the rescue, well, think again. New data shows that private companies are shedding more than 13,000 jobs per week, a massive jump from just earlier this month. Also, layoffs last month topping 153,000, making it the worst October we've seen since the dot-com crash. Big players from Amazon to Meta are all tightening their belts, and now retailers are planning for the lowest holiday hiring in more than 15 years. Jonathan, you earlier said you were not the Scrooge, but that sounds kind of like the Scrooge. Talk first about the holiday hiring, because that's very seasonal and more idiosyncratic, not so much the indicative of sort of the Metas and the Amazons that we've been talking about.
Yeah, but it does seem like by this time we usually have heard that, UPS is hiring 10,000 extra. And we haven't heard so much of it this year. And I have to say, Taylor, the jobs are one area of the economy that I am concerned about. And it's frustrating because in a truly free market, there's an unlimited amount of jobs. We don't have that. We've got a lot of regulation. We've got minimum wages that have gone up. I mean, that's hurt. Just look at California. Scores of businesses, restaurants especially, jobs taken away because of all those regulations. So what I'm looking at is what the economy seems to be needing. We've talked about it on this show before, are some of those trade positions that you necessarily don't have to go to college to get, maybe just to go to a trade school. So AI is going to prompt that, I think, a rejiggering, if you will, of employment economy-wide.
And that's sort of the debate, Jackie and Brian, that we were having earlier, where does AI free us up to engage in other activities? Or is this sort of going to be the death of jobs? You guys heard my take that I think that humans are innovative and we will find a job, and where there's a will, there's a way, and AI will allow us to find something new. But there is a lot of hesitation, and we've heard this from Marcus Lemonis as well, that AI is coming and it could be really painful.
I want to believe the half glass full. I think you're probably right over time. I think the question becomes, again, does it come soon enough to offset the people who are going to be displaced as a result of AI? I'm thinking about the seasonal holiday jobs, though, the decline that we're seeing in hiring for just the holidays. And it speaks to me and says that employers are nervous about what is to come, what's going to happen, what the consumer's going to do, that they're not necessarily sure. Tariffs are still out there. So, retail doesn't know necessarily how that's going to shake out with the Supreme Court. And that uncertainty is always a little bit of a nagging problem. Yeah. Is everything going to go to plan? Is the timeline going to work out as nicely as the administration wants it to? The answer is nobody really knows. We're just going to have to sort of wait, see, ride it out, see what the spending is like this holiday season, and see how things shake out next year. But when companies start pulling back in that way and becoming extra cautious, it's a red flag to me.
Brian, weigh in as well, because we talked earlier, we're sort of in the no hire but no fire zone, where I don't want to hire, but I'm not ready to get rid of people. So there isn't movement within the labor force and it feels static.
Yeah. That, I think, is the problem of companies not knowing how AI is going to affect their business. Maybe still trying to figure out how tariffs are going to affect their business. And so they don't want to lose opportunities in the market. They're not shedding a lot of jobs, but they also don't want to get overextended hiring and then find out their cost structure doesn't work in this new world. That's a really hard place to be. I love the debate we're having about, what is AI going to do long term to the jobs picture? I'm totally with you, Jonathan, in theory, and I think with you, Taylor, that the human spirit and human creativity can navigate this. You can find new things to do. The barrier isn't AI. The barrier is all the stuff in the U.S. economy that gets in the way of entrepreneurship, right? AI puts a premium on people being entrepreneurs. But if you live in places with high taxes, high regulation, where it's difficult to open a business, you're not going to make that adjustment, right? Part of the problem, I think, in America in over the past 30 years is it was a place where technology changed the jobs picture, and the easiest place for businesses to go was not America. It was to go overseas, to China and other places, which is why it's so important to make America the best place in the world to start a business. That is the best thing to me about what Trump is doing. It's the tax bill, it's the regulatory changes to say build it here, not somewhere else. And I do think it's smart for American policymakers, not to say trade is bad, but to say how can we advantage America more than any place in the world. That's the job of American policymakers to do that. And I do think we're doing that more than we have at any point in my lifetime, frankly.
Jump in.
Yeah, I mean, we get a really confusing picture, right? Consumer confidence is down, but I think that means that Americans are spending out of obligation and anxiety, but not out of actually feeling good. But we're still expecting $1 trillion in holiday sales. So they are shopping. I think it's just more online. I look at the hiring for holiday work as a shifting to the online marketplace. We just need less physical workers in stores because so much is done online. Now, that doesn't explain like the UPS because that means those packages have to be shipped.
Right.
But I do think we're just seeing a shifting to where people are shopping. So that doesn't worry me as much. The AI thing does worry me. In October, we saw 1 million jobs cut. That's the highest amount since 2003. Any industrial revolution, you see more jobs. But AI happened so fast. Technology is a hockey stick.
Yeah.
AI came out, the 4th iteration of ChatGPT in 2022, and nothing has been the same since. Just think about how quickly it has changed everything. And I cover AI. When you talk to businesses, they're waiting and seeing. They're freeing up as much revenue as possible, as much of their spending dollars as possible, to spend on AI. Kids that are coming out of college, I'm talking to so many college juniors and seniors that are struggling to find internships because companies don't know what they're going to be doing with these entry-level jobs because it's being replaced by AI. I even heard here at our company, when you're interviewing for an internship, you are doing an interview with a video AI person, not a recruiter at Fox, because why not free that up? So AI is coming. I do believe it happens with every industrial revolution that there will be new jobs. But this is truly the biggest change we've seen in our lifetimes. So it's not going to be a one-for-one switch. And I think it might take a little longer to reconfigure what the workforce looks like. And the person who loses their job entry level is not going to become, I don't think it's going to be like truck drivers didn't get jobs in big major companies. This transition takes longer. I do think those kids that are struggling to get internships are well positioned because they know the most about technology. So that's hopeful for them. But I do think there's a lot of the workforce that eventually will be in that 1 million group of jobs cut, and where they get their next job and how quickly they do.
How do you interview with a bot? Because there is evaluation there. I just can't understand that. I've used a chat bot that's run by AI, I don't know, at Target, for example. A package came damaged. So they look for keywords in the chat, and then they give you options of what you can do. That I understand. How do you evaluate a candidate for a job?
And it might turn
I look
out
for keywords, how they present themselves, and I'm sure there's body reading AI that says, like, okay, how are they presenting? And then it's recorded as well. So if a person wants to review it, but I think that's a great question.
It might turn out that interviews are not a good purpose for AI. I mean, the economy really is in kind of an experimentation phase right now. All I know is that, look, we used to have an entire cadre of people whose employment was elevator operators. That's what they did all over. They stood at the elevator, took it to the 5th level, took it to the 8th level. Well, thankfully, that was replaced by computers, replaced by technology. We're going to see more and more of that. Also, there's more opportunities now to get retrained than there ever before. You can take Harvard classes or MIT classes, whatever, sitting at YouTube. So I think if people are now, they're going to heed some of these AI technologists' warnings and get retrained on what will be the new jobs of the future.
There's almost no excuse because this gives me everything I need to know about a new job or a new trade school or a new something or a new opportunity to learn, and it's free.
Right.
So there's no
AI does
excuse
that.
for me
You can
not
learn
to learn when I have this at my fingertips.
Laziness.
The older
You're looking at me
the
like
little
I'm
harder
not.
it is to shift gears. As you get older,
That is
it's
true.
hard to shift gears like
And
that.
the criticism has been AI's changing it so quickly that
Yes.
there isn't time. Because literally, like in 2 years, AI went from nothing to almost.
And when
everything.
I've got so much of my tax dollars going to educational institutions that actually aren't doing a good job of preparing anybody for this world, that bothers me. Give me back some of that money. I'll use it to pay for the training I need to do. There's a whole lot that has to happen in that world.
Here's what does not bother Jonathan Hoenig. Silver at a record. Yep. The last record I had was 55. So if we're at 56, 57 an ounce, we're getting there. You tell me, Fed interest rate cuts, supply tightness. I've had inventories at warehouses or at record lows going back to 2015.
Price.
Tariffs on silver. What do you think?
And price itself, price itself is a great indicator. And it's not just been silver. We've been talking about gold at all-time highs for months. You're also seeing platinum and palladium take off. So, I'm following this under the heading of a rising tide lifts all boats, which is why, we've talked about being diversified really means not just owning 2 or 3 different types of tech stocks, but also owning an element of commodities. And I think SLV, that's the ETF that tracks silver, I think it goes higher from here.
Interesting. Good stuff.